Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Trust everybody's doing well. Once again, welcome to our question and answer session. This we have every first Saturday of each month. Here we call our ServiceNow practitioners to come and share their journey with us, and then we learn a thing or two from their adventure. We also have a second session, which is more product deep dive and hands-on. This is happening every third Saturday of the month. But for this month, considering the holidays, this would be that Christmas week, so we're not having any. So this is our final session for the year 2025. And we are having the amazing Sophia come share her journey with us, and we'll learn a thing or two from it. Also, heads up, this is the MVP time, so don't forget to send in nomination. You can vote yourself. You can definitely nominate others. Like I'm there for the running. Those also in the ServiceNow Nigerian user group and then the African community are also available. So Semga, Tosin, and then Michael, who are the founders and then coordinators of that, as well as Atul, and then others. So don't forget, you can nominate others. If you do submit that nomination, it does show up as record not found when you're submitting. Once you're logged in and you submit the person's, all you need is their first name, last name, which is the full name, and then their email. That's all you need. And then you hit the submit button. You need to definitely be logged in into a ServiceNow account. So long as it's not a partner account and all, you should be able to get that submission in. You'll be able to submit, and then you'll be able to get that nomination and get your voice heard. Also, right now, there is also, we thank Emeka for that. There is that reminder that the prerequisite, which is the data foundations, which is CMDB, CSDM, is currently on now. You have, it's beginning, I believe, to be free till June 30th, 2026. So it's going to be free up until June for you to go take the exam. The prerequisite is still on, but what it is the vouchers would be available. So it's not like it's voucher. So exam, for you to go register for that exam, it will be available for you. Normally the exam window is a 90-day window, so you're not going to rush to go do those exams. The course is CMDB fundamentals on demand. That's all you need. Go there and study the materials. Take a look. There's also exam blueprint. I have some sample questions, even the questions that you have in the on-demand course. Get a hang of it. Make sure you do the micro certifications that come with it, that configure the CMDB and then the manage the CMDB one, because that's all you need. And then we talk about the it's called the CMDB workspace, as well as I think the different management tabs that we have there, or which is just the tools that are available there. It's really all that it is. So if you're already certified in those areas, so if you have done this data foundation and paid for it, ServiceNow would give you a voucher for free, but that will begin on the 10th, which I believe is Monday, so that will become available for use. So give me a minute, 1 minute, please.
Gerald, your mic is on.
Yeah, apologize on that one. So regarding that, what's going to happen is you would have a course for free. So beginning on the 10th, you would have received an email talking about that. ServiceNow is not necessarily giving you any refunds. What's going to happen is they'll give you one exam that you can go ahead to go take. So that exam will become available to you. So you would choose, like in my case, I believe Emeka and a couple of other people, like my spouse too, a couple of people that have done it. So you get an email about that, and then you would have a different course or a different certification that you could go take. So this is a huge undertaking for ServiceNow, just like they used to before. This is the community having voiced their concern because it's going to affect a lot. And the fact that they responded almost instantly or quickly, quickest turnaround time, I believe, it's really great because this is an extra mainline certification that everyone should just go ahead and go grab. So it is all up for you to go ahead and do. Get certified. It's really important. The data foundations, if you fail to certify before the end of next year, so December 31st, 2026, then all those certifications, whether it's ITSM, CIS, or CSM, or all of the others like vulnerability response, SecOps, and the likes, they will all expire. So it will show like expired, then you would need to write the exams again. So what that would mean is you will need to write the first exam, and then you will write the data foundations with the rating, as well as the CIS. You will need to write that there as well. So it's very important that you take this, hit this, hit this, this call now, to ensure that you get things going. This is our online session. It's all via WebEx. After the call, the recording will be available and shared in the community, all our social channels. So we would also share Sophia's contact so that way we can build network. So her LinkedIn handle as well as email so that you can get in contact with her. Don't forget, you need to rest. It's the holiday season, so be enjoy the holidays, but be tap us some. How I'll put it, that you should be mindful that or be safe about it because a lot has been going on all over the place. And that's that for me. Except we have any questions? None yet. So you can use the reactions. You can raise your hands. You can take questions as we get them. We do have a couple of questions that we used to kick us, and then we will also be you can put the questions in the Q&A section, or you can put it in the chat. We'll get to them too as well. So yeah, I think that's enough housekeeping already. Sophie is here. Thank you everyone for being here. And Sophie, over to you. So let's get to meet you a little bit about yourself, high level, then we can kick us off. Thank you.
Okay, hi guys. I'm happy to be here. My name is Sophia Semga. I am a software engineer and multi-cloud architect. I began my journey in ServiceNow when I was 18. So I've been in this field for about 3 years now. What do I have to say? I've been in tech for about 3 years now. I started professionally working about 2 years ago. I'm very excited to answer any questions you have about anything ServiceNow related or tech related or even job related. Yeah, that's I don't know if there's anything else. I guess I can talk about my tech journey. My original plan was to be a general surgeon, but once I graduated from college back in 2020, I think, or 2022, I think, I was really I really did not feel comfortable. I was in a trance where I didn't know if going into the medical route was something I wanted to do because, as we all know, to become a doctor or anything respectable in the medical field, you have to be in school for a very, very long time. And I'm all about how can I get to a place of financial stability at a young age. So I had an aunt who was a solutions architect at Amazon, and I was talking to her about it, and she was like, "You can start learning cloud. There's different types of cloud infrastructures. There's ServiceNow, there's AWS, there's Google Cloud. Just see if you can start, if you see which one you're interested in, and see how you like it, and see what you can do from that." So that's what I did. I chose ServiceNow, and I started learning about it. And during the course of learning, I also joined courses so I can develop my coding skills. So I was in a 16-week course for JavaScript. I did another 16-week course of Python. I did another 16-week course of I basically learned, I was self-taught with ServiceNow. And after that, I decided one of the other ways for me to kind of keep myself grounded in my learning was to share what I learned with the community. So I started a YouTube page. I also have a website where I post different blogs on different ServiceNow functionalities. So I did that for about a year, and then with that, recruiters got interested in what I was posting, and that's how I landed my first role in ServiceNow as a junior developer. Um, but I didn't stop there. I have big dreams, as I know we all do. I was interested in the other cloud infrastructures, so I decided to also learn about Google Cloud. I don't know if you guys know, but there was a program going on about a year ago to learn about Google Cloud, and it was like a 10 to 16 week course where after learning, you can take an exam, whether you can either take the cloud administrator exam or the cloud architect exam. So I choose the cloud architect route. And yeah, I got my certification. And after that, I continue just honing my skills and ServiceNow. One of the important things someone told me when I started my job was that while you're learning on the job, is also important for you to develop uh how do I say it now? For you to have a niche within the service now. Like find a module or a functionality within the platform and really make sure and be an expert in that. So I decided to learn the one thing that most people try to shy away from, which was Flow Designer and UI Builder. And I wanted to be a master in that. So I spent about 6 to 8 months learning everything I could about Flow Designer and also UI Builder, and posted content about that. And I was able to land another role with that, where I focused on, I was able to land a role with ServiceNow. And what I did within ServiceNow was they wanted a application engineer who could work on the different components in UI Builder and build out use cases with those components and develop documentation on those use cases. So I did that for about 9 months. Um, and actually, if you try to look up any UI Builder related functionalities, you would see documentations from me on the ServiceNow site. So yeah, and now I'm here, still working, still learning. And yeah, that's a little bit about
Good
me.
deal, good deal. Sophie is also a rising star. She didn't want to mention that, don't mind that. But yeah, but that's for sure, for sure. Learning never stops. So it's a good thing. Good to have you.
Learning never stops.
And then thank you for the UID content. I know it was Maria and a couple of others that were doing it for a long time, and Brad, because I know that was part of his
Yeah,
babies back in the day.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I worked closely with Brad and Maria
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of
The UIB
in a
content.
lot of yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. I don't see any new questions or any questions in the chat. So the next question that we have for you is, what do you do outside of work to rest and recharge? Because, I mean, that's a lot of learning. So you got to make out time to rest too. So what do you do outside?
Of course, you do. It's always important for you to have a schedule. I think that's what's really helped me a lot, especially if you're doing a lot of different things. I'm also back in school as well. So it's very important for you to kind of curate a schedule for yourself. Time to do this, time to do that. So yeah, having a schedule and creating a time for you to actually step outside and hang out with family. I work all through the week, even weekends I work, but I try to dedicate Sunday to spend with my family, to go outside, to just be in the moment, to be in the present. So, um, just making sure that the most important thing here is to have a schedule where you can balance your work and also your life has been helping me a lot.
Good deal. Good deal. There has to be that balance. A lot of people, you could call it work-life balance, you could call it Zen, you could call it whatever. But your faith, your
Mhm.
family, and then the community. Just make sure that you have something outside of work that kind of like centers you. Great deal. Great deal. No new questions yet. So now I know you have started to talk about it a little bit, but how do you stay up to date with technology trends, especially now with the AI craze everywhere? So how do you keep up?
Um, by being involved in, the community, that's also very important because there is somebody who's going to hear about something and relay that back to the community. So I'm in a lot of ServiceNow Discord channels, and we share information about different things that's going on within ServiceNow, and also just looking at, like, you have a ServiceNow account and you're on LinkedIn, and if you follow a lot of these ServiceNow pages on LinkedIn, 9 times out of 10 they're always talking about what's new within ServiceNow. So being involved online and using that to kind of like, okay, what do I need to do based on what's going on right now? That's how I try to stay, you know, on track with the new technology and things going on. And ServiceNow has a lot of, different, how do I say it? Different events that's always going on. There was a World Firm that just happened. There was the Build Dev event that just happened a few weeks ago. So just staying involved with the different events ServiceNow, you know, throws or offers is important. And also attending the conferences, even though it's online or in person, to try to get an idea of where ServiceNow is going and how you can fit into how it's moving is important. So I try to make sure that I follow a lot of the ServiceNow YouTube pages and I keep my notifications on for them so I can see what they're talking about. And also attending their online conferences on Build Agent and all these different things, and going back into my PDI and practicing the different things that they talked about. That's how I stay involved and up to up to present with the different technology things going on within the
Good
platform.
deal. Good deal. You got to immerse yourself there. You got to be involved.
Mm.
ServiceNow has a lot of resources. You're an engineer, you're an analyst. You got to research. There's a lot of going on. Those channels, the Discord, you name it. There's a lot
Mm.
of there's opportunities. But you also have to be, like they say, hungry and humble. You have to really want it. So that way you get
Exactly.
involved. That's the only way. Good deal. Good deal. Loving it. I don't see any questions in the chat and then no raised hands, so I will check the Q&A. Yes, not question there. Okay, good. So we do have the next question up. This one is kind of like where you were wanted to. Okay, no, the next one is. So there's this debate. Training, is it more beneficial to the practitioner or to get certified? What's your view? What's your take?
That has been a very, very big debate for a very long time. How do I say this? I feel like they're both important, but the more important thing is for you to have the skill set. Most of the time, certifications are like, how do I say it? It's important for you to have the skill set. I would just say it. Like these jobs, yeah, your certifications are cool, but can you build? Can we give you this use case on Flow Designer? Can you create it for us? Can you create this custom application that we want? I think that's very important. Getting certs are easy. You can always do that. You can always be up to date with certs. But to me personally, when you get on the job, what matters is what you can do and how you can build. So I personally think being able to build and being able to hone up your skills is more important than getting certs. Not that certs are not important, but having the skill set to speak up on those certifications are more valuable because that's what you're going to be doing on the job. You're not just getting the cert. The jobs don't need your cert, they need your skills. So,
Good deal, good
yeah.
deal, good deal. That's the thing. The thing is a bit of both of them. There's no right or wrong answer. That's
Yes.
analysis. Because
There's no
analysis is really
exactly. Yeah,
understanding,
it's
right? Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's a little bit
my
of both. You just
right, it's a little bit of both. It's that fun line. There's that it's called for you to know the certification. It takes dedication, it takes commitment, it's important. It gets you notice, it gets you the foot in the door, it gets you there, right?
right.
But you need to have the skills, that hands on. You need to know, you need to create those things, you need to build those things. If
Exactly.
you can't do it, then the
Exactly.
certification is as good as garbage because they don't need
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. They don't need the
I
certs. They
think
need what you can actually do.
yeah, they don't need you. Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. I love that. I love that. The next question we have up, I don't see any questions in the chat, is kind of like where you were starting out, that you talked about it, the niche area. So this one is it's picking off of that. So generalizing versus specializing. What do you think on this debate? Generalizing versus specializing. What do you think?
It's good for you to have a good understanding of the platform. That's where generalizing comes in, right? But being able to be an expert in something is also important because if you notice a trend of most of the ServiceNow jobs these days, they're asking for specific knowledge on specific things. Like most of the jobs, if they're looking for an developer, they would say, "Oh, we're looking for someone who knows Ham and Sam." So it's always good for you to have a general understanding of the platform, but also pick something that you can, really, really dedicate your skills and knowledge to. Because sometimes you can get a job doing that one exact thing, and that job can pay pretty well. And I would say this, you get paid more for knowing something that most people don't within the ServiceNow space. I would definitely say that. So, yeah, having general knowledge is great, but it's also very important for you to find a niche in ServiceNow and be good at that, especially if you want to make more money. So, yeah.
Good. It's all about the money. It's all about getting paid. Like I remember one time when I interviewed with ServiceNow, and I asked them a
Mhm.
question. I said, "Hey," because he was an architect, right? And I was like, "Okay, what makes you wake up every day and come to work?" And he was like, "I didn't think about that, but really, is the money. It's the money." He told me
Exactly.
that, and
Yeah.
we all laughed
Yeah,
about
and I have yeah, one of my friends, the one who I worked with creating these documentations for UI Builder when we're working in ServiceNow, his niche is specifically UI Builder, and he works like a contract role that pays him over $100 an hour to
Mhm.
curate use cases
The
and build
content,
out
yeah, the content,
works.
yeah, just a little, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, he has general platform knowledge. Yeah, he can create a table, he can edit he can make fields read only, whatever. But when it comes to UI Builder, he's a master, and that's exactly the only thing that they're paying him for. So,
Yeah, good deal. So, and this is my own take, right? There's no right or wrong answer here. My take is a bit of both, just like the other. Reason being that the generalist think gets make sure that you have a job all the time. Reason being that
yes.
where you are in your career will also determine that. And then if you're working for consulting like the Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst and Young, all of them, right? Wipro, whatever. You need to be a generalist, right? They might bring you in for a job if you're much more senior and targeted, right? But if you're new, they want you to know as much because they every 90 days they have a new opportunity that they provide to you. So you will always be busy, you will always be learning. That's consulting, that's analysis. But as you continue to deliver, as you continue to implement, you want to see the areas that you're good at because you want to start to narrow down. I look at myself as an example. I started out, from the help desk technician, and then I started to support ServiceNow projects, and then from there I started to learn. I sit on the shoulders of giant. I'm grateful to Mr. Femi, Dr. Zach, my sister-in-law, and my brother. They told me about ServiceNow, and then since then I've never looked back. But here's the thing. I started out with the basic knowledge, and then I started to niche in the AI thing. Because for me, even then, when it started with just the chatbot, but when I started out, I just wanted to know the engagement layer, ITSM, HR, customer service. Because for me, these are where you're having to look at the whether it's customers or whether it's the employees, right? Or whether it's IT, right? So those areas, because for me, I looked at that if you know all of that, right, the engagement layer, you'll be fine. And it doesn't take away that you know the platform, like that certified system administrator, because you need to know, you need to have that, right? And then as you grow, you see how they introduce the chatbot, and many times the chatbot or even the AI solutions, they start out from those first. They always try to start out from those first. So those areas are always kind of like going to be kind of like in the forefront for most of any innovations happening in most technologies. So if you know those, you should have a job at any given time. But as you now go along, you would see all those niche areas and focus, even like CMDB, huge one, ITOM, SecOps, GRC, huge stuff, or like the UI builder, or even the flow designer, the automation, because a lot of people still are looking at that now. Legacy workflow is out. Before it was there, you could see it, but now it's out. So if you don't know flow designer, you're in soup. so you gotta know it. If you don't know it, so and then nothing beats you to now wake up and say, this is where I want to now niche out. But it doesn't mean that you would throw away your old knowledge, right? But the things now you want to see this area that it's soft, that you can wake up in your sleep. It's now there your bread and butter. You niche there, and then you'll be sought after, and they'll pay you big bucks for sure, for sure. The space is continuing to evolve. It's continuing to grow. They need you. So where you are in your career will also determine, and then give yourself some grace. Don't say I'm not learning it or I'm failing this thing. Sometimes even the certifications you might fail it sometimes, but you're there for the long game. So don't let up, or don't don't give up, because if you do, then you have yourself to blame for sure. But good deal. That's all it is. I don't see any questions, and then no questions in the chat yet. But I think we have. Okay, yeah. So now this is me asking you this one now. So other than Flow Designer, other than Flow Designer, what other areas, right? Are you really comfortable, or do you really like the most? Other than Flow Designer, because already Flow Designer is like your baby now. So which area again you do you like the most?
UI Builder.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, good.
because most especially UI Builder is kind of like a fairly new
Yeah, the
interface within.
components, right? Components.
Yeah, and there isn't a lot of documentation at this current time, except for the ones I have been able to curate for ServiceNow, but there isn't a lot of documentation on UI Builder. So actually, if you were to go learn UI Builder right now, you would have to be the one figuring out everything by yourself. Like, what does this do? What does this do? How do I put this together? You're having to do that by yourself. But it's a good learning experience because, first of all, not a lot of people are interested in it right now. And
Mhm.
it's a very, very powerful interface that allows you to do a lot of dynamic things, from curating workspaces to developing apps, um, dashboards, anything. You can utilize UI Builder for it. So I have been trying. I've been having a lot of interest in it. Um, so yeah, that's where I am right now. Just I was actually doing some UI Builder work before I got on this call, but it's been an interesting learning curve, but it has so much potential even now. So yeah, UI Builder and Flow Designer are my two babies at the moment.
Oh, good deal, Sophie. And Makara has a question in the chat. He says, "What's your advice for those starting out and they feel overwhelmed? Because sometimes, what do I learn? What do I do? Go to the PDI. There's so much resources, and then IT is like that. There's so much information put at you. So I know Cessna has tried recently with whether it be the career pathways or journey thing that they have, but even that too, there's a lot there's a lot of courses, there's a lot of information. So what's your take? What do you have?
Um, what's your advice for someone starting out? I would honestly go back to really just where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years from now within ServiceNow? Do you want to be a architect? Do you want to be a developer? Do you want to be a consultant, an analyst? And kind of plan plan that way. Like for me, I knew from the jump, the moment I started learning about ServiceNow, I wanted to be a developer, and then from developer, my goal is to become a master architect within the ServiceNow space. So I planned out how exactly I'm going to do that. And as he mentioned, there is ServiceNow learning paths that you can utilize, right? And then also having a community of people who are trying to do the same exact things you're doing is also very important. Um, Planning study sessions with them, just going to them for advice on how to do different things is also important. What really helped me was having a community of people who were also trying to be ServiceNow developers. Um, Creating different, like, there was a time before I landed my first role, I think I did like 3 to 4 different ServiceNow cohorts on just app development, custom application development. So it's just like it's important for you to have a community. It's important for you to plan how you see yourself 2 to 5 years from now. And also, do not allow what you see on LinkedIn or whatever to dictate where you are. When I started out, I deleted LinkedIn. I'm sorry. I just like if something doesn't really align with what I'm trying to do, I'm just not going to see it. So, what you just have to do is focus on what your plan is, not what you're seeing online or anything. Have a community and just dedicate your time in learning your craft. and you would be fine. And once, if it does get overwhelming, take a break, you know, take a few days off and come back to it. Learn something else and come back to it, and you will be fine.
Good deal. Give yourself grace. There's a lot going on.
Yes, there's a lot
Even
going
if you don't get to the first time,
on. The
there's
market
a lot
is
going on.
in a frenzy, so just honestly give yourself grace. If there's other things you can learn at the meantime, please learn it. But yeah, be
Keep
graceful.
moving forward. Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Yeah, because I mean, because it can be a lot, but your end goal would determine where you're going. Um,
Exactly.
and it's a journey, right? It's not a sprint. So why
Exactly.
don't try to
Once you
don't try
have
to
that
do
end
so.
goal in mind and you have a drive as to, there is no option. Like when I started with ServiceNow, a lot of people, and I'm sure you guys have heard this before, was people are always like, "Oh, you can start off as help desk, do help desk, or you can, you know." I knew that I'm not going to be a help desk. I wanted to be a developer. So I made sure I did everything I could to put myself in the position for me to
Position.
become one. Right. So if you have an end goal of exactly what you want to do and a drive to do it, then
Mhm.
that's all you need.
Good deal. That's also what it is. Good deal. Good deal. So Kennedy asked a question. He said, "Are you a pro code or a low coder?"
I am a pro code developer. Um, I do a lot of scripting and within, but there's nothing wrong with being a low code developer either. It's just with my role at the current time, it involves a lot of customizations within our platform. So I'm doing a lot of scripting with business rules, creating script includes, and even with my role within UI Builder, UI Builder also, I'm sorry.
That's the UIB component.
Yeah, within UI Builder, you would also have sometimes to do a little bit of scripting for components to kind of interact with each other or even pages to interact with each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. I think that's the last question that
There's a
we have.
question
It's
back
similar
there.
to.
There's a Ken
Go
question. If
ahead.
it's still open, let me come.
Go ahead.
I
I
mean,
can.
Ken
Can
asked
you
a
can.
question in the chat, so I think you missed it.
Oh, he says, can a beginner be able to catch up as UI builder? And what is the step-by-step advice? Um, UI, can a beginner be able to? I also still consider myself a beginner. I feel like everybody who is learning, who has any sort of experience within UI Builder right now is still a beginner. And I just want to put that out there that just like every other, you know, interface or functionalities being released into the platform, um, they're not all the way done. Like UI Builder is kind of like a try and error within ServiceNow right now, where they're trying to see if what people can do with it and what are the errors they're having, and then they fix it, right? So UI Builder is still very much a beginner friendly interface, and everybody, even the people who curated it, they're still beginners. I'm a beginner as well. But I would say for you to get started, just there is, even though I did state that there's not a lot of documentation on UI Builder, there are some that can give you some idea of what it is, what it's involved in it, and how you can get started with it. And from then on, it's really up to you. Just start playing around with it, just like you do with everything else in ServiceNow. Um, there is no step by step. It's just like just open the interface and see what you can do with it. Oh, there is a 6 hour what is it? There's a 6-hour learning course on ServiceNow Learning. I don't know
Yeah,
if any drop it into the chat.
yeah, it's in the
That,
chat. It's the
yeah,
there
that's
is
one way
the
for you to get an idea
yeah.
of what ServiceNow is.
is-
And there's also some if you look on the ServiceNow community and you look up anything UI builder related, some of the use cases are on there already. So you can use that to practice. And then from then on, you can also develop your use cases. That's what we have ChatGPT for. Develop your own use
Sure.
cases, see how you can create them in UI Builder. And if you have any questions with what you're doing within UI Builder, you can feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn for sure. Or just post your question in LinkedIn and see if any of the ServiceNow advocates or professionals can help you.
We're gonna I miss Ken's question. And that's true. There's that course on ServiceNow University. It's a UI Builder Essentials also. There's a fundamentals, there's an advanced course there on UI Builder. Big stuff in the mark in there. It will help you huge, get you started. Um, the experiences, I think there's also catalog builder too. All these builder experiences, there's going to be a lot of fundamentals courses are going to be moving to essentials, and which just means now the implementation will be called advanced, I believe, or something like that. But that's as they continue to transition, because they too, they are evolving. It's all learning. So that's because even like Sophie said, there used to not be so much information. Before it was that agent workspace. So now it's configurable workspace with UI builder and stuff. So it's a lot there. It's also a good niche too as well. I think that's that. There's no other question. Do we have anyone that wants to, before Sophia gives us the closing advice for anyone trying to break into the IT career, especially in ServiceNow? What's your advice for
I have,
them?
I have
Okay,
a quick
so,
question.
Ty has a question, I think. All right, go ahead, Ty.
Hello. Hi, my name is
Go ahead.
Ty. All right, so my quick question is like, how important is it for you to have an ITIL background? Because, configuring stuff within ServiceNow, that's all good and dandy. But if you don't really understand the processes as to the reason why we're even doing the configurations that we're doing, it might encounter some issues in the future. So how important is it for you to have that ITIL background? My question.
It is very important. The foundation of ServiceNow is ITSM, where you're learning about incident management, change, problem, and how those things kind of relate to each other. So it is quite important for you to have ITIL foundations down to understand how, you know, these processes work. So yeah, having ITIL foundation is pretty important.
Right. To add to that, Ty, great question. Great conversation, everyone. But to add to that is this: every solution out there is built using the ITIL framework. It's talking about service delivery. If you do not know how those services, what they're for, or how they are created or configured, then even what you're doing, then it makes no sense or no meaning for what you do. So ITIL foundation is really important, super important even for delivering any IT service or service management solution, SAP, Salesforce, AWS, name it, right? They all are designed and built using the ITIL guidance there. So whether it's the definitions, the processes, you're talking about the people, the interactions, it's a whole thing, right? The value co-creation place. So if you don't have that knowledge of ITIL, you're not moving anywhere. You go there, but you don't know or understand the reason why behind it. Yeah. But great question, I love it. So just foundation is really, which is just the definitions, the terms, the concepts, knowing your role in there. That's really what matters, as a practitioner, whether it's, an analyst, depending on the type of analyst, whether you're technical or functional, so that way you can really, excel, and then collaborating with your team, different practitioners there, whether it's the SecOps team or DevOps team or Scrum team, depending on your delivery team, how your team set up. So for the most part, it makes sense. For a good deal. Good deal. Vincent says he's moving to America soon. What's your best advice on how to grow and where to focus on? Okay.
In ServiceNow or just tech related?
Yeah, you can do a bit of both. It's the same thing.
It really depends on what exactly you're trying
It's
to.
their service now.
Yeah, in ServiceNow or just tech in general. If it's ServiceNow, what exactly are you trying to do? And that's where you go from. What experience do you already have, and how can you incorporate your past experience into your new job experience? So you start there. And once you have that question answered, then, like we mentioned before, if it comes to ServiceNow, there are different learning pathways that you can follow. Community as well that you can also be a part of to ask different questions. If it's tech in general, it also draws back to what exactly are you trying to do in tech? Are you trying to be a web developer, an architect, whatever it is? If it's web development, you would start by, of course, understanding code. There's always like a free, like if you look on LinkedIn especially, there's always some type of free cohort going on. And there's also like coding apps that you can use on your phone to practice. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do. And once you have that question answered, then you can go from there.
So that's so true. It all depends on Vincent. I want to believe that as question. It depends on where you are. So you already have a lot of background, skill set, and knowledge. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You were saying
Oh
something.
yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to say like I'm hearing what you're saying. Like I'm starting from like ServiceNow administrator. So I've taken a couple of courses around there. So I'm looking to focus in IT service management, ITSM. I
Okay.
think and around database. That's somewhere I've been doing because personally I've been learning SQL and Python on the side. So I think I want to
Okay.
focus on database as well, more around
Charger.
any ServiceNow environment around database. So that's the part I'm actually looking towards.
Good deal. Like all your skill set transfers over. Okay. Begin with your why, which is looking at what you currently have, right? What you already know. All those skills are transferable. You're coming into IT or you're coming to service now. There's the career pathways there. There's starting out as an administrator, like you talk about. You already have that coding knowledge, whether it's Python or whether it's SQL for querying databases. So ServiceNow provides you that career journeys, right? There's also the PDI with learning plans. There's also the Welcome to ServiceNow course. There's admin fundamentals course. There's also it's called there's also a simulator, which would also test that you know what you're configuring. That is there for free for almost every product area. Go try it out. So especially if you're looking for more hands-on, that will validate. But if not, ServiceNow has the documentation as well as the learning plans. Those ones you do the tasks in your PDI, get you a lot of experience or projects in there, which will actually help you and reinforce the learnings that you have. Because the learning never stops, but you need to continue to apply it, so that way you get what you really the hands-on, and then build your skill set in the area that you're trying to pivot to, or the area that you're trying to place your focus. There's a lot of free courses on the developer track. There's a developer channel there on the ServiceNow community. So don't miss it. There's also that the Dev Slack. There's also that the ServiceNow Africa user group, ServiceNow Nigeria user group. Go there. There's a community that is backing. You know, we're growing. Ask your question. There's a lot of professionals there that will help you share the experience and provide you answers. But you know, there's a lot of help there now compared to before. And then Google is a powerful tool. A lot of people forget. That's why you have those your mobile phones. So anything you put a question there, right? And that's really even the so-called prompt engineering thing, because AI is infused everywhere. So if you ask the question, right, even you can continue to refine that question, and then you get the answers, or get pointers or links, right? You get that, so that way you can make sense. And now with you know, the Gen AI and agentic, it will even give you summarizations there, and then give you the links to those if you want to go read more. And then you'll be the one to say, okay, I think this one is helpful for me, this one is not, and then get there for sure. But for sure. Any other questions that we have before we go? Thank you, Sophie, you know, for that. The last question that I have there is the one that's talking about words of advice, which is similar to what you've said before already. So for somebody breaking into ServiceNow, it's kind of like the question that Vincent and then that Emeka asked. For somebody breaking into ServiceNow or IT, how do they grow their careers? What's your advice for them to really hone in, for them to really continue to grow, so that we can close this out?
If you want to grow your career in ServiceNow, like I mentioned before, is really having a plan of where you want to see yourself. Like for me, I'm a developer right now, but my end goal is to become a master architect. I have 3 architect mentors, platform architect mentors at the moment. So it's just like being around people who you see, like where you see your future self, being around people who are currently doing that thing and asking them questions about how they maneuver things and what they do on their day to day. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you're supposed to be doing right now to prepare you for that. Staying involved in all the different, technology and things going on within the platform. Be very, very involved. Continue to practice different skills within the platform. Find a niche also. And yeah, that's how you can grow. That's how I've been doing it. So I'm just gonna go I'm giving you advice based on my experience. Have a mentor or have people around you who are doing the things you see yourself doing in the future. Practice your skills as much as you can in the platform, and just don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Find what you can do every couple days. Like, even though it's 30 minutes of watching some type of video on something ServiceNow related, that's 30 minutes of knowledge that you did not have before. So practice, 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 learn something new every day, be involved with your community, and have people around you or a mentor doing something that you see yourself doing in the future.
Good deal.
I have a quick
Good deal.
question too. Sorry, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. That's why we're here, because we're closing out. Go ahead.
No, no, for real, no. I mean, you hit it right on the nail. Like being proactive is very, very important, right? Like if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going, right? So, doing that, being prepared initially gives you that kind of foundation. my quick question to you is like, what would you say is the most challenging thing that you face as a developer? So I'm not sure if you like started from as an ITSM first, then moving to the developer space,
Mhm.
or you've always been a developer the whole time. So what would you say is the most difficult thing transitioning from ITSM into being a developer, or as a developer right now, what's the most challenging thing you face?
Um, the most challenging thing I think I've faced as a developer, especially when you get on the job, is you have to understand their processes. And sometimes that can be a lot, you know? So, it was a little challenging for me because my job has a lot of things going on. They're doing CSM configurations, ICSM configurations. They're also incorporating a lot of Gen AI into a lot of different functionalities that they're doing. And one of the main things that really tripped me was domain separation, which I still hate to this day. But
Is it hard? Is it because it's
um,
hard or what?
domain separation is not really enforced in service now. It's not best practice. But because my company, we are customer facing and we have a lot of different accounts which needs to see different things in the platform. And that's why we utilize domain separation, even though it's not best practice. So it's just really about like spending your time understanding your company's process. Like it's not only about, and one thing I had to learn is like just because they give you a story to go build and you build it, you need to understand why you're building that thing. Like what purpose does it serve? Why are we doing this? What is it for? Who is going to be using it? You know, things like that. Not just build just to go build because they told you to go build. So understanding the process was very difficult for me, but it's something that you learn as you go, of course. And even dedicating after hours to kind of look through documentation that they have on different things that they have going on within our instance helped me a lot. So that was the most difficult thing for me at the start. But to answer your other question, I did always start off as a developer. I didn't move from my first ever role was just developer.
First developer. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's so good that you said the why, because sometimes as developer, I think we just look at the acceptance criteria, it says do A, B, C,
Yeah,
D, and you
and you,
just do it, but you don't
exactly,
even know why you're doing it. But if you know the
exactly,
reason why you're doing it, you'll be a better
exactly.
developer, and you can even approach it with a better knowledge because you know why. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And sometimes, even after looking at the acceptance criteria and understanding the process, you may not even need to build that particular thing. It's like,
Mm,
okay, we probably have something already related that's working. So why are we doing this? So yes, understanding the process, the business goal, why it's needed is extreme. It's even probably way more important than the building itself.
mm,
Not saying that the building is not important, but yes.
right. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
No, of course.
Great question, Ty. But here's the thing. Like I explained or like I mentioned earlier, I started out from being an help desk, but I also started out after that transition to analysis, right? And then did the requirements engineering or requirements analysis and gathering and all, and then transitioned to be a developer, then architect, right? Program lead and all that. But here's the key: it's all about the design, right? The why, business understanding first. But if you're not a requirements engineer, if you don't wear that your analysis up, or if you're not in those conversations, you can't know, right? You're just waiting to be assigned story to go work. But the thing is, that's part of the design process or the architecture process. A lot of times this should be brought up in the sprint planning or the story time when the business is actually speaking to the story itself, or maybe a scrum master is presenting, having a product owner and a business analyst to provide context. But if you don't have that context, you can't really help, right? You can't
Right.
even proper assign points to the story. But that will help with solutioning or the how or the design phase. But if you don't have all that context, you can't really help. So if you don't come with the analysis background, you might not know. It's not like it's helpful, because at that point you really understand process, right? And then how to improve on it, and then how to put your own 2 cents, because that way you better appoint your stories, you better be able to dictate or document, and then that will kind of like help you. But for the most part, does it take away from you as for your delivery? No, it doesn't do that.
Yeah. And also,
It doesn't.
unfortunately for developers, they are not included in certain meetings to understand the reason why, right? So it's sometimes the tech leads, responsibility to make sure that they're delivering the why to the developer, so that way when they start building it, they understand the why. But because developers are not involved in certain business meetings, they really do not understand, the reason why they do what they do. They just go build, So I guess having a good tech lead or good architect also, plays a very, very huge part as well.
Yeah.
So
And it's also like ask questions. Like it
Because
doesn't
that's the
like
key there.
yeah.
So
Ask
listen.
questions because like even though the architect or the business analyst or whoever is going down to you to give you these stories, everybody has one goal at the end of the day, is to make sure whatever needs to be done. So they're probably wanting you to ask questions, like since you're the one developing it, you need to ask those questions sometimes. And that's what happened to me too. Like I needed to start telling my senior developer and my business analyst, like when it comes to stories where we're getting these high demands from business stakeholders about customizations and stuff, I need to be in those meetings. I need to understand why we need to build a whole different catalog item for this customer. I need to know why we need to revamp their flow. I need to know. So yeah, it's always important to ask those questions, even though you're not always entirely involved in the beginning of the process. But since you're the one doing the work, ask questions.
Good deal. So that's one thing for the tie. The good takeaway is during your sprint planning or story time, or during those times when they are before they assign the stories to you, you want to know why, right? Not just read the requirements or read the user story acceptance, then talk about 2 points. But that's the point for you to ask the question, because the business analyst should be there, or if the business analyst is not there, the product owner should be there. They should provide context. You want to understand, you understand, or you have seen that acceptance, but now, why are we actually needing this? So that way they can give you some context. If they don't provide any so clear answers, then you can now give recommendations or suggestions that if they need to, that you need more guidance for you to. It's not like you don't know how to do the work, but you need context so that you can better provide them with the proper solution to it. You might do it a couple of times, then they might start to incorporate, or you build out templates, for them, and say, hey, these are kind of things that you would like to see, or this is how they should even write the user stories better, or something that will help to make sure they have most of the information you would need to make a better informed decision to give recommendations to them. Yeah, for sure. But that's all it is. Great conversation. I'm loving it. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity. Especially thank you, Sophie, for closing out the year with us, sharing your experience, your journey. We're grateful. Couple of minutes, our videos will be out. We will share your contacts information. Don't forget, go ahead. She does have a YouTube channel as well, and all. She'll get all of that, those handles, so you can always go engage. She has contents out there, whether it be you, Ken, you talked about, UI builder and things, and then she has also been among those creating the UI builder content that's out there. Oh, sure, Emeka, go ahead. You have a question before we go?
Not particularly a question. Sophia, thank you very much. You know a lot, right? And I don't know if you make yourself available to, we have a lot of learners in the community who I know will be very much interested in the UI building and a lot more insight into fluid design, right? Because automation at the end of the day is what drives service now. So I don't know if you'll be available from this is December. I'm not going to take your everyone is crossing off
The
things from
holiday
the
month.
calendar. Yeah, because the holiday will start from next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe from next year, if you'll be available to, hold some
Take his
sessions
session.
with the
So he's putting
with
you
the
on the spot.
community.
Oh, no, man, he's just trying
So
to put that up. He's putting you on the spot.
because you're very good, you're very soft spoken, and I believe you're a very good teacher as well. So the community will be very happy to have you come in and take some sessions on, the areas where you've niched down to. Because some
Like the
people are
flow
still
design,
in that place where they're still trying to find where to fix themselves, right, in the platform. So when knowledgeable individuals like you come in to speak to them, I believe you'll be able to, define someone's career pathway from that sessions. So if it's
Sure.
something you're willing to do, I'll speak to the community admins and then we'll reach out to get availability from next year. But that is going to be from January, so I'm not going to bother,
Sure. Yeah, I can curate some time for that.
Grateful,
Thank you very
grateful.
much.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
And can you
Thank
also
you.
put our contact information in the chat, please, as well? Or are we
Oh,
allowed to
yeah,
contact
yeah.
her?
We're definitely going to put that
Or
out
she's a
there.
special gem that we can't contact? Or
Oh, no. We'll put our information, but you're in
Okay.
you're in the group, right? But we'll put our information so that you can contact her, for sure, for sure. But you're in our ServiceNow Africa user group as well. You are also in LinkedIn. You are definitely going to contact her. You have her contact details for sure.
Yeah, because Mickey was one that actually invited me here. So,
Mickey did. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mickey.
Yeah.
We're grateful. Our numbers are growing. For sure. Definitely, it's really important. You're going to get that in a couple of minutes. I will share that with everyone. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and then the holidays as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.